Hey everybody, back again with another quick video. Today we're going to take a quick 3-minute look at microphone ISO or isolation splitters, and we're going to look at specifically passive transformer isolated splitters. We typically use a passive ISO splitter like this when we're taking a single microphone and sending it to multiple destinations, multiple mixing boards, consoles, record decks. So let's pop one open and take a look at what's inside. So this is a pretty typical ISO splitter. This is made by Whirlwind, called the IMP splitter. Nowadays they're labeled either 1x2 or 1x3, which is what this model is the 1x3. You can see there's a single input and 3 outputs, a direct and 2 isolated outputs. A typical place you might use a splitter like this would be recording a live band. If you're going to record a band in a small club, for instance, you'd have a low channel count, you've got a small in-house PA system. That PA system may or may not be very good. You just don't know going in. So what you want to do is isolate your equipment, your recording equipment, from anything else in the room. You want to get those microphones into your recording gear as clean as possible, and this will isolate you electronically, keeping your signal chain clear from any interaction with other equipment being used. So you can see we're taking it apart here. These Whirlwind units are built really well. They handle a lot of abuse, and you'll see all metal construction. That's why I like these. Radial makes some really nice stuff as well. Either one of those are going to be pretty industry standard. So let's take a look inside at what we've got going on in the actual wiring of this unit. So as we said before, this is a 1x3 splitter, meaning it takes one input and sends it to 3 different destinations. Your mic input here on the bottom, these are XLRs all around, so an XLR female on the bottom for your mic to plug into, and that's tied, as you can see in this picture, with the blue and red, and the white being the ground, straight across to that direct out. Absolutely nothing except for some pieces of wire between the input and the direct out. That is a complete pass-through there. You can then see the ground and the white wire being tied from the input to these individual switches on the left and right, ISO 1 and 2, and those carry on over to those ISO outputs. And what that allows you to do is lift or engage the ground independently on each one of those outputs. Really handy feature there if you're dealing with any sort of buzzing in the line. If you're following along in the picture, you'll see red and blue, which tie across to that direct output, are also tied to the inputs of the transformer. That's the red and blue going into the transformer housed on the right, and then those split out to the 2 different ISO outputs. You see on the ISO 1 side is black and orange, and on the ISO 2 side is yellow and purple. So let's put this back together, and while we do that, we'll talk about some real-world applications. I mentioned before where you might use this would be in a live setting, like recording a live band alongside of a PA system. And if you're going to do that, the one thing you got to remember about transformer splits is that phantom power will not pass through a transformer. So when you're setting up in a real-world environment, I would normally have my record rig fed from those direct outputs, so I have control over that phantom power. I would then use the isolated outputs to feed the various parts of the PA system. ISO 1 maybe to monitors, ISO 2 to front of house if necessary to have 2 different sends there. And that gives me a ground lift ability between both of those different destinations. Again, we're keeping in mind that with transformer isolated splitters like this, you must use the direct output for phantom power supply. Isolated outputs simply will not pass phantom. So that's a really quick and basic look at a passive transformer isolated microphone splitter. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot them down in the comments below or email me directly. In a future video, we're going to take a look at this guy, which is a balancer splitter. This is a line level balancer splitter. So if we're looking to split a line level signal, that's what we would use, not the microphone one. That will saturate. Anyway, that's for another video. Like, subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. So long.